Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is August 2nd, 2026, and reports stating that there will be changes in how Barcelona sell their academy players. Also, Marc Casado hesitant of leaving Barcelona. I'm going to tell you why. And finally, Barcelona being linked to Ounahi. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Boo. I apologize about not posting any videos yesterday. I had an incredibly long and crazy day. But don't worry, because today I'm posting 2 videos. I've already posted one. This is the second one. Once you're done watching both videos, you will be all up to date in regards to our beloved club, the greatest club on earth, Football Club Barcelona. All right, let's begin with the news because we do have an update in regards to Barcelona's preseason, because the team continues their training in England at St. George's Park. Of course, they did play that friendly match on Friday against Birmingham, where they drew 2-2, and then they lost in the penalty shootout. And well, tomorrow, Monday, August 3rd, the team was supposed to play a friendly match against Preston North, but that friendly match has been canceled. And the reason for that is because Preston North did not have enough players from the first team available. That's because they have a cup clash against Huddersfield next week, so they didn't want to risk their players. Since Preston North didn't have enough first team players to face off against Barcelona, they did offer to have their under-21 team play the friendly match against Barca, but Barcelona said no thank you. So instead, tomorrow Barcelona is just gonna finish a training session, just a normal training session, and they're gonna hop on the plane and fly back to the city of Barcelona. And then, of course, on August 8th, Barcelona do have those 2 friendly matches against Nottingham Forest and against Udinese in Italy. So no friendly match tomorrow, just a regular training session, and then back to the city of Barcelona. Now, speaking of the training session, look who joined the first team training. It's no other than Barcelona's latest signing, Jesse Bisiwu, the 18-year-old Belgium winger who Barcelona announced his signing, I think it was yesterday or the day before. No, it was on Friday. And while he completed training with the team, of course, Hansi Flick did split the team into 2 groups. One group who did recovery exercises after that friendly match against Birmingham, and another group that trained harder. It was comprised of players who did not play that friendly match against Birmingham. And while Jesse Bisiwu was amongst that latter group, which of course is always exciting to see our newest signings joining the training and while seeing what they have to offer the team. Now, speaking of young, promising players, it's reported that Barcelona will implement changes in how they sell their academy players, or how they transfer their academy players, I should say, because before, of course, Barcelona would, loan out players, academy players, in the hopes that they can get the minutes to grow and develop. But now Barcelona are going to move away from that policy and start more like transferring players on a permanent basis. However, with a buyback clause that it's agreed upon before the player is transferred. And why is that? That's in order to encourage those teams taking on those players to actually play those players and give them the minutes so they can grow and develop. Because when players are loaned with no option to buy, or they're not permanently transferred, sometimes the other teams don't really play him that much, sometimes because they don't have really an incentive when that player is going to go back to their club. But if you loan them with, let's say, an obligation to buy, or they transfer him on a permanent basis, then those teams do have an incentive to play that player, especially if there's a buyback clause, because then this team could make money off playing that player and developing him, right? Because that buyback clause, which of course would be higher than the actual transfer fee that would be paid to Barcelona. So that team could technically recover their investment and make some profit. Now, one player who could be looking to leave from the academy this summer, speaking of transferring academy players, is Jofre Torrents, because it's reported that Barcelona are currently negotiating with Ajax the transfer of the player. Ajax are currently offering a 1-season loan where they want to cover the full salary of the player, and then with an option to buy worth 5 million euros for 50% of the player. which, as I told you about the change of policy, if this loan goes through, then Barcelona would be including a buyback clause. That way, if Jofre Torrens does end up staying at Ajax and he ends up living up to his full potential, Barcelona can always buy him back and bring him back to Barcelona. Now, of course, the reason why Barcelona and Ajax are currently in talks for the move of Jofre Torrens is because there is no space on the team right now. Of course, we do have Balde on the left back, and Barcelona are currently finalizing the signing of Joao Cancelo. So with Cancelo and Balde on the first team in that left back position, of course, Barcelona thought that the best move for Jofre it would be to go somewhere else because he's already outgrown Barca Athletic in fourth division. So much better for him to be playing in first division in the Netherlands than fourth division with Barca Athletic. Now, on to that next bit of news because, ladies and gentlemen, an academy player who's now hesitant or reluctant to leave is Marc Casado. Now, of course, Casado has seen his minutes getting diminished with every passing season. And it seems that Hansi Flick had a conversation with a player recently where he informed them that there are several players ahead of him in the pecking order, including Pedri, Bernal, Frankie de Jong, of course, but he's injured now. Eric Garcia and Gabi, which means he is last on the list. And even though the player was originally considered leaving, he is now reluctant to leave. And the reason for that is the injury of Frankie de Jong, where Frankie's going to be out 5 to 6 months. So Marc Casado sees this as a good opportunity to get more minutes and to impress Flick and to hopefully get even more minutes by impressing Flick with the minutes that he would get from Frankie de Jong's injury. Now, of course, as I told you previously, Barcelona have set a price tag on Marc Casado around 40 million euros. Barcelona did receive an official offer before June 30th worth 10 million euros that they rejected because they believe that anything below the 30 to 40 million euro mark is simply not worth it for Marc Casado, which I do agree because, as I always say, if we were to sign Marc Casado right now from the Premier League or another league, you bet your butt off that they're going to want a lot more. So I'm glad that Barcelona were able to reject or they decided to reject that offer because 10 million euros for Casado is nothing. Now, it's reported that Marc Casado's agent, Jorge Mendes, continues to search for other destinations and that Marc Casado would consider moving, but it would have to be the right club or the right move for him. He's not going to go to Saudi, even though Al Hilal have been insisting on signing our academy player. Now, let's end today's video with the news that Barcelona have been linked to the Moroccan midfielder Izzeddine Ounahi, the 26-year-old Moroccan midfielder who had a pretty good World Cup, if you ask me. He currently plays, of course, for Girona, but Girona have been demoted or relegated to second division, which means Ounahi is now searching for a new destination, and it's reported that he could be available for between 10 to 12 million euros. Now, there are other clubs interested in Izzeddine Ounahi, including Real Betis, who have been in negotiations with the player and Girona to sign him. But today, reports stating that Barcelona considering Ounahi as a possible option to replace Frankie de Jong while the Dutch midfielder recovers from his injury. Now, this is not the first time that Ounahi is being linked to Barcelona. He was linked to Barcelona after the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, where I don't know if you guys remember, Morocco actually eliminated Spain. And that's when Luis Enrique said that he was very impressed with Morocco's number 8. So that's when he was linked with Barca, but those links went nowhere. And now the links are back. But if you were to ask me, I would put a big question mark on these reports. I think this is probably a negotiation tactic to just either drive the price of the player up or maybe to by his agent to drive his salary up, because I don't see Barcelona signing Ounahi. For starters, we have a lot of midfielders in Barcelona not looking to add to it. And second of all, even though Ounahi, had a pretty good World Cup, he's more of a mid-table team, someone like Girona, someone like Real Betis, not someone like Barca. And if we are going to bring a midfielder to replace Frankie de Jong, might as well promote from within. Tommy Marquez will be a great option as opposed to spending on someone like Ounahi, 10 million euros. That's 10 million that you don't have to spend. Plus, that's a player that would come and take minutes away from someone like, Tommy Marquez. Anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, be scarsa.